Marvin Lynn just asked me if I would be singing, and I'm happy to tell you I will not be. So, according to this paper, my name is Shelley Shaban, and I am the Vice Provost for Academic Personnel and Dean of Interdisciplinary General Education. And I'm also a professor in the Department of Speech and Hearing Sciences. I'm honored to welcome you to the 2019-20 Faculty and Staff Convocation. Vanelda, who we owe much thanks to for today's event, started my year off right. She sent me an email last night on a matter of great significance and ended it with 7 beautiful words. No action is needed on your part. That was true. She also said I get to introduce and welcome you to today's event, so what could be better? I hope you are greeted with some kind words as your term begins. I know how hard you work and how busy you are, and I'm grateful for each of you and to each of you. In just a few moments, you will receive a video welcome from Provost Jeffords, who will speak later in the event. But first, we will be treated with a performance by the Portland State Chamber Choir, directed by Ethan Sperry.
Thanks so much. It's an honor to be here, and some of you may be aware of this, but classes haven't started yet, and yet somehow we have a whole choir here to sing, and we've gotten back together early specifically to sing for you and for a lot of the choir here. This will be their first time singing with the choir in this highly unintimidating setting in front of most of their professors. Just a show of hands, how many of you are new to the choir this year? So, yeah. And how many of you are new to PSU? Yeah, welcome. We're not going to sing actually an actual piece of choral music. It's more of a Haitian village gathering. And in Haiti, you have Catholicism, and then you have voodoo, which is practiced here in this country as seen on TV, not at all the way it is in Haiti. The voodoo spirits sort of take the places of the Catholic saints, spirits that we can contact only by singing and drumming and dancing. And we're singing one I think is perfect for this gathering. It's to Papa Loco, who's the spirit of wisdom. And it celebrates the transmission of knowledge. And we are the butterflies. We are taking the wisdom from Papa Loco, and we are taking it to Agwe, the spirit of the sea, which, if you can imagine the island of Haiti, is the borders of everything. And we are the butterflies, and we carry this knowledge all over the place. One of the things that does not exist in Haitian gatherings is an audience, sitting in uncomfortable chairs. Pieces like this are repetitive. If you've figured it out and want to join in, that would be more authentic than sitting still. If you feel moved to dance, that would be fine with us, absolutely, as well. It could be a nice way to start the year. If you're really, really moved, we have a faculty and staff choir that we sponsor. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon in our choir room in Kramer Hall, and can be a great way to get to know other people, but also just share community in a really different way. So thanks for having us here. Have a great year, and hopefully you'll take the spirit of this piece to heart. Oh, we also don't have conductors in Haiti.
No sé, papi, yo Welcome to a new academic year. I want to offer a special welcome to all of our new faculty, and congratulations to all faculty who received promotion and tenure in this past year. I'm just starting my second year as provost at Portland State University. I spent my first year visiting everyone across campus. I felt incredibly welcomed, and I'm grateful to all of you for making that first year such a great pleasure for me and a great learning experience. What I found is that this is a purpose-driven institution. There was not a person that I met who didn't share the institution's deep commitment to access, equity, and inclusion at Portland State. And there is much of which we should be proud. In the fall of 2018, Portland State had the highest retention rate ever. Even more importantly, and a ranking that means more to me than anything else in U.S. News and World Report, we were ranked #1 in the state of Oregon for social mobility. Portland State was founded with a commitment to access, and that value has been core throughout the history of the institution. But in the coming year, as part of our continued commitment to student success, we're also going to turn our attention to the achievement of outcomes. We want to focus on improving retention even more, and most importantly, increasing graduation rates. While we get great recognition for doing well in graduation rates for the students we serve, I don't think that's good enough, and I don't think you do either. We all have an aspiration to see more of our students graduate and to seek the success that they have for themselves and for which they came to Portland State in the first place. With the President's strong leadership and support, we're launching the next iteration of this student success work this year. It's going to focus on 4 main pillars that you will hear more about today. They are persistence, academic success, affordability, and the student experience. I look forward to partnering with the leadership of the Faculty Senate and the membership of the Senate, as well as with the student government leadership, to work on these goals, to set ourselves targets to achieve, and to improve what we're doing on behalf of students. There's much to do. We have big tasks ahead of us, but I know that with the commitment that exists at this institution, across the university, to our students, we can achieve any goal that we set for ourselves. You'll soon hear from the President about the importance of this work, and then you'll hear from the chairs who are going to be leading these pillars. Students will succeed if they're given the right opportunity. Providing those opportunities is our responsibility, and I look forward to working with all of you to make that responsibility and those opportunities a reality. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephen Percy, the interim president of Portland State University, and for 5 years you've known me as Steve, and let's just say that's not going to change. I want to thank Ethan Sperry and the Portland State Chamber Choir for that beautiful performance. Boy, did that get us up and going. Is that a good marker for the energy and success we're going to have this year? I thought maybe some of you might be wondering what's up at PSU. When you left at the end of the year, we had a few changes underway. We had a little bit of a few things going on, so I thought you might like to know what's been going on, so I'm going to just spend a few minutes sharing some highlights with you. First, I want to say it's been a productive and positive summer at PSU. I've worked to rebuild teams, sought to learn the full responsibilities of my position, and spent time letting faculty, staff, students, and administrators know how much we appreciate their energy and contributions to going forward to achieve our mission at Portland State. Please know Portland State is moving forward in exciting ways. Let me give you an example, which is mentioned in Susan's video, and Susan, thank you for that very galvanizing introduction to student success. As she mentioned, PSU was recently recognized by U.S. News and World Report for work that is dear to us here at Portland State. As Provost Jeffords mentioned, we were ranked by U.S. News and World Report as the best institution in Oregon and in the Northwest for social mobility, and that means we are succeeding in helping Pell Grant recipients obtain a college degree and move forward into successful, meaningful careers. Of course, this works core to our mission and consistent with our campus strategic plan. Thanks to all of you who have contributed to that success that we've had thus far, to helping this to achieve social mobility that's so highly ranked. Thank you all. On the research front, and let me be clear here that research remains an important and critical component of Portland State University. Some people have asked us lately, are we still paying as much attention to research as we've done in the last 2 years? And the answer is emphatically yes, we are. I'm delighted to tell you that PSU researchers were awarded several remarkable grants over the summer, and altogether we saw an 8% growth in research funding, that in a time when research competition is very high. Exemplifying just a few of our accomplishments, I can't name them all, we received grants from the National Science Foundation to individuals at teams at PSU to do things like a $353,000 grant for a project to study earthquake resilience in Nepal, a $1.1 million grant for a project to improve undergraduate mathematics education, and nearly $5 million grant to improve access to STEM education for underrepresented students. And this comes on top of course, our very major Exito grant. In addition to these awards, I also want to recognize all the other forms of research and a creative expression that take place across our campus. Our overall scholarly achievement is the result that emanates from research in all areas of the campus, including both unfunded research and that research which is funded. All of that together and creative expression represents our true research and scholarship here. In another sign of the public's faith in Portland State University, we learned that our PSU Foundation exceeded its annual comprehensive goal for the period ending June 30th. And you might imagine it was not the easiest year to do some major fundraising. I like to speak sort of understated occasionally. We are making great progress in completing our comprehensive campaign goal of $300 million, and stay tuned as we're marching forward ever faster to that goal to achieve that. You know, in the last couple of years, many people have said to me, and I bet you said it to each other sometimes, how can we tell our story more how can we tell the PSU story more effectively? How can we inform the community, region, and state of the amazing work we do? And how do we excite more people to apply for admission to our university? These are very important questions, as marketing and promotion is a challenge in the information overload era. I'm pleased to tell you that one of our initiatives is that we're going to be launching a new marketing campaign designed to promote PSU's unique identity and value proposition. With rabid competition in the realm of student recruitment, it is critical that we're on the cutting edge of marketing, communications, and social media. We're pleased to be working with the firm 160over90, which has conducted extensive research and spoke with many people on campus as they designed this plan to reflect our own spirit and our own knowledge and our uniqueness. I'm very confident that this campaign will do much to help us do a better job in putting us on the map. Stay tuned for more details. We've also been working in state government relations. We're in the early stages of thinking about creating a compelling vision for higher education in Oregon that is supported by the state legislature, the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, and other important stakeholder groups, as well as the other public universities in Oregon. The state made a major contribution of $2 billion into K-12 education in the last legislative session for this current biennium. And while that's amazing, and we weren't part of that, and we want to be part of the next generation of that, because those students are going to be graduating at higher rates from K-12 schools in the state of Oregon, and they're going to need to go to college someplace. More students will be coming our way. But one of the things that we learned in talking to legislators, they weren't legislators, they weren't always quite sure what higher education institutions were doing, how they were responding to changes in the higher education marketplace, how we were being innovative, and what vision we had. So we're going to be working hard with a variety of stakeholders in the state to try to build that compelling vision. So the question won't be in the state capitol every 2 years, what is it you're asking for this year? what do you need our money for? It will be, how are we doing in achieving our joint vision, and how do we sustain investment in that vision to make sure that we're being successful? I think that's a very exciting thing, and PSU will be part of that. One additional exciting accomplishment as we start the academic year is the unbelievable transformation of what was formerly Neuberger Hall, temporarily named FMH Hall. The new name is coming soon. And please, please, please stop saying Oldberger. You want to get rid of that? That was a temporary stopgap, but we do not want that to stick. The building is the physical manifestation of our commitment to student success. If you've not visited the building, it's right next door. Please stop by and see our new home of several academic departments, a myriad of student support services, such as financial aid, financial wellness center, the OIT help desk, the bursar's office, academic advisors, our new transfer and returning student center, and much more. And then linked by Sky Bridge to this building, where they're to a multicultural and other student support centers. So with an easy walking distance, you're so close to all of these wonderful services and some new ones that all form part of student success. And clearly, the FMH Hall, that does not roll easy off the tongue. But I'm not going to say the other word. FMH Hall is our physical manifestation of our commitment to student success. You've got to see it. The light, the windows, the beauty of the place is unbelievable. So please stop by if you haven't done that. Well, we're starting the new academic year. I took count the other day. I didn't count the years, but this is every fall since 1971 I've been on a college campus. Getting exciting about the new year as a student, graduate student, and faculty, researcher, and then as administrator. So don't count all those years up. But as we start this year, we have many new colleagues joining us at the start. I'd like to say welcome to all our new faculty, academic professionals, and staff who are joining us. Could all of you who are new this year, could you stand up and just let us say hi? Thank you. We're delighted to have you as part of our family. We have some new academic leaders I'd like you to meet and get to know. First, I want to introduce Vice President for Enrollment Management, Chuck Nefeli, who joined us about 2 weeks ago from Clemson University. Chuck is right here. We're delighted to have the wizard of enrollment management join us, Chuck, and we're so glad you're here. And Chuck will be saying a few words a little bit later in the program. I want to introduce someone else that most of you know very well, our colleague Jason Petrovsky, who assumed the position of Interim Vice President for Research and Graduate Studies when we had a vacancy that I knew exactly who to turn to, and Jason's doing a great job. Jason, would you like to come up and say something? Okay, Jason's going to be talking later. You see the power a president has, right? We'll be starting a recruitment process for a new vice president for global diversity and inclusion, and I hope the campus community will be actively engaged in that recruitment process. I'm very pleased that Julie Caron has agreed to serve as our interim vice president for global diversity and inclusion, and would she like to come up and say a few words? She is not saying something later in the program.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon. It's my privilege to serve as the Interim Vice President for Global Diversity and Inclusion. And as President Percy, or Steve, as he likes to be referred to, mentioned, the search for the VP of GDI will begin this fall on campus with interviews occurring winter term. And I encourage everybody to get involved. There will be focus groups and where everybody can come and hear the candidates that are selected for the on-campus interviews, and you'll be able to give feedback. During this year, I will continue to work collaboratively to make Portland State more diverse, equitable, and inclusive. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is not only a value and a mission of Portland State University, it is the essential framework of who we are and what we do as an institution and as a community. I invite you to join us in our efforts to make Portland State a place of support, access, inclusion, and welcoming for all by becoming involved in the Diversity Action Council or other initiatives and programming happening across campus. As a designated sanctuary campus, Portland State community also shares a commitment to the protection and support of all of our students, regardless of immigration status. We honor, respect, embrace, and value the unique opportunities of all students, faculty, employees, volunteers, in our local and global communities. To be truly inclusive and welcoming campus, it is crucial that we recognize the importance of growth mindset for all members of our community. In continuation for this endeavor, I have some GDI colleagues who are in the back, there they are, that have some You Belong posters. And we have enough for all of you, and if you'd like to bring one back to your respective departments, I welcome you to do that so we can show that all are welcome and belong at Portland State. I hope that we will have an opportunity to collaborate with you and your department in the near future, and our doors are always open for support and resources. So thank you and welcome, and I hope you have a great new academic year.
Thank you, Julie. Finally, I'd like to recognize our new Dean of the School of Social Work, Jose Cole. Is Jose here? So just stand up, Jose. Jose's been here for only a few weeks, but he's already making a difference, and we're glad to have you here. Welcome. I'm going to try something different in the interim presidency, and I'm going to call it the Presidential Fellows Program. As I entered the president's office, I recognized what I saw as important opportunities or innovations or things we might do that would help PSU that were worthy of considering, but I wasn't sure who was going to have the time or the energy to look at them and help us do some thinking about them. What I decided to do is reach down into our faculty ranks and develop something called Presidential Fellows, or people who will spend some time working with the president and many other people on campus to look at a variety of exciting kind of activities, and I want to tell you about them. Fellows will engage in research, interviews, conversations to guide their findings and recommendations, and then they'll report their work and the recommendations to the campus community when they're completed. So I'll just I want to run down very quickly who the fellows are going to be this year. Theodore Van Alst, who's Associate Professor and Director of Native American Studies, will explore strategies to advance PSU's connectivity to Native American tribes in order to advance the education of Native American students and explore university tribal engagement. Shirley Jackson, Professor of Black Studies, will look at the feasibility and benefit of reestablishing an ombuds unit at Portland State as a strategy to enhance overall campus climate. Lisa Hawash is going to work with us. Lisa is a clinical professor in the School of Social Work, will give us advice in the use of an equity lens in planning, decision-making, and evaluation here at Portland State. You may remember that there was a very powerful goal in our strategic plan that talked about equity, and I think it's time that we return to that with more energy and try to explore some things we can do, and Lisa's going to help us with that. Some of you had the chance last year to hear from Laura Nissen, who is currently Professor of Social Work, formerly the Dean of the school, about the exciting work of futurists who challenge our thinking and creativity. Laura is convening a Futures Advisory Group to engage in collaborative, participatory research aimed at analyzing the upcoming future of higher education. I appreciate the work of the fellows, and I look forward to working with you. So now we're going to shift to student success. You're going to hear that word a lot this year. Please don't think it's the same old student success. What we're really trying to do is triple down, 4 times down, 5 times down on our commitment to student success. Of course, caring about student success is not new to us. I want to say that very clearly. I say it over and over. We've been doing that for a long time. So what we're talking about here is a deeper focus, renewed commitment, and evidence-based innovation. I believe that everyone here has a role in advancing retention, quality learning, and graduation of PSU students through the work they do on a daily basis. We need your ideas, we need your innovation, we need your messaging to students. We're not asking everybody to take on a new full-time job. We're just asking you, as part of your current jobs, can you find ways to be supportive of students? And I should say new ways, because we've all been trying to do that. And innovation and collaboration and cooperation are all some of the things you're going to hear about, how we're going to use existing resources to really do a substantial work in the field of student success. Since coming to PSU about a year ago, our provost, Susan Jessert, has taken the lead in exploring retention, graduation, and learning success of our students. During her year here, she energized our attention to student success, created cooperative teams, and led a major comprehensive approach to the educational success of our students. She'll be telling us more about student success and all that's going to mean to us here at PSU, and we'll be joined by your colleagues Michelle Topi, Jose Cole, Matt Carlson, Chuck Nefeli, and Tom Bielovitz. So finally, as interim president, welcome back. We missed you. We hope you had a really fun, productive summer. Things are going well here. Let's have another great year. Thanks.
So I'm not actually supposed to be here, that's why you got the video. But I had a change in plans and I'm here, and I just realized that I've completely ruined any illusions you might have had during the last year that I'm actually like this really professional person, because I came up here wearing my sneakers rather than the really nice professional looking shoes that I have in my backpack and that are sitting there. So if this ruins any ideals you had about me, I'm really sorry. But you have to recall, I come from the state where Patty Murray, the senator in tennis shoes, made a great mark. And so I follow in excellent footsteps by wearing my sneakers. And I want to start by saying, first off, thank you, Steve. You stepped into a tough spot, and I can't think of a person who embraced that problem, that difficulty, that opportunity with more generosity and integrity than you, and I'm so grateful that you did and that we all have a chance to work with you. So I really want to. I also want to give a shout out to Vanelda Hopes and Colette Yaspo and the entire team who organized this whole event. It's fabulous. It was a ton of work. And it all looks so easy for those of us who are standing up here because these folks have done a terrific job behind the scenes. So thank you all. So I have spent my first year here. It's been a fabulous year, and I am so looking forward to this year ahead and the work that we are going to do. As Steve explained, we have been working hard on student success at this institution since its very beginning. And we are going to continue to do that hard work. We've made significant gains already in retention rates for first-time, full-time freshmen and for transfer students. But we have work to do to improve our graduation rates and increase access for our students to the opportunity that the successful completion of a college degree provides. In support of that goal, as Steve mentioned, over the last couple of months, I've been organizing a strategic framework for coordinating the campus-wide efforts, making our work more intentional, and making it evidence-based. But before we go into, I'll say a little bit about this outline, we have some really nice news to share. In addition to all the good things that have already been recognized about PSU, just an hour or so ago, we learned that we're the recipient of a new SNAP 2 award that will enable us to support our students who are eligible for SNAP benefits, to be able to receive those benefits here, and to be able to combine those benefits with support for seeking careers. We are the only four-year institution that has been a recipient of this program. We are the first in the nation, and there's a reason why its PSU is the first in the country. Not only because, yep. And I'm super proud of that. Lots of community colleges have received this support from the federal government. But what we're going to do is not only have that support available to our students, but through the Homelessness Research and Action Center, we're going to do research on that work. That's the role of a university, and that's the role that PSU is going to play in student success. I really want to recognize Michelle Topi and Jason Green, who were behind this. Marisa Zapata is out of the country, otherwise she'd be up here celebrating this with all of you too. The center's role in this is fundamental to our ability to understand the impact of this award and how we can continue to use that as a best practice going forward. So, as you can see from this slide, we are organizing this work around a number of pillars. We have executive support from the president. We have a leadership council with key folks at the institution who are going to be in charge of areas that will help us implement the work, help us coordinate that. I'm particularly pleased that the presiding officer of the Faculty Senate is part of this leadership council to ensure that constantly we have the perspective of the Faculty Senate as we think through these issues. The 4 pillars, as you can see: persistence, academic success, affordability, student experience. You will hear a bit more about each of those from the co-chairs of this work in just a few seconds. The important piece is we are building a data system at the bottom of this so that we understand what works, why it works, and if it doesn't, how we need to make some changes. Moving the needle on student success measures depends on our ability to predict the barriers that our students are experiencing and to correct them before any damage is done to our students. It relies on our ability to put powerful data tools in the hands of the people best positioned to act on that data. This data team of experts will not only be doing this analysis, but sharing it broadly across campus so that everyone can begin to understand and participate in the evidence basis for our work. So I want to start by inviting the folks who are leading the Persistence Committee up, Michelle Topi and Jose Cole.
Thank you, Susan. So this past July, UC Berkeley faculty member David Kerp posted a provocative piece in the Chronicle titled "The College Dropout Scandal." A lot of you may have read it. In the piece, Kerp argues that too little attention has been paid to the startling fact that 4 out of 10 students who start college leave without a degree in hand. He notes nationally published data that suggests public universities graduate a little over half of their students, 40% of college freshmen never make it, and not completing college costs students billions in lost earnings. Kerp's points are well taken. If higher education is the key to economic mobility, we need to do better nationally and at PSU. A college education gives students the intellectual capital to tackle high-skilled jobs and the social capital to make connections and build networks that lead to long-term stability and success. When we admit students to Portland State University, we have an obligation to commit to helping each and every one of them to be academically successful and to flourish. I'm convinced that at PSU, we all care deeply about the success of our students, but we're not always certain about how we can best use our time, talents, and resources in the most effective and strategic ways to support that success. Jose and I are deeply honored to have been charged with leading the work we will be doing this year under the heading Persistence. We're anxious to open a campus-wide conversation about how we can all work together to develop and access resources and align all of our efforts to improve persistence and graduation rates at PSU. Because like you, we believe that every PSU student can succeed if given the opportunity and resources.
In order for us to embrace our motto, let knowledge serve, we must create the capacity to ensure that our students are successful from the moment they step foot on our campus. We must be intentional in our efforts to increase retention, graduation, and subsequently, and more importantly, decrease the debt burden of our students. We are a community built to achieve student success by developing a culture of data-driven decision-making and making data transparent. We can support best practices, explore how we scale the effective strategies to impact the broader community, and more importantly, the student experience at PSU.
So, how will we get there? Well, we're going to start by learning from successful case management practices already in place at PSU and elsewhere. A few examples of these include the care team, the University Success in Housing and Residence Life, the TRIO and McNair programs, Multicultural Retention Services, the LSAMP program, Build Exito, International Student Support, School of Business programs, and programs in athletics, and the Last Mile program. We will employ predictive analytical tools to identify the students most at risk not to persist. We will then use what we learn to inform institutional priorities about systemic issues that need to be addressed to better support student success across the campus. This is all about collecting and synthesizing key data and putting it in the hands of faculty and staff. By getting the right support to the right person at the right time, we can all meet our obligation to PSU students. And now you will hear from Matt Carlson about the academics pillar. Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Matt Carlson. I'm the interim dean for the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and I'm very excited to be heading up the work in academic success. I'm also an alumnus, Bachelor Sociology class of 91, and I'm a first-generation student, and I know firsthand how PSU can change lives. And I believe that our students can succeed if given opportunity and support. And all of our jobs is to work together to provide that opportunity and support to our students. We know that students struggle in a number of gateway courses, including math, biology, chemistry, and even writing courses. This is not a problem that's unique to PSU at all, but it does prevent students from progressing academically. And it impacts our graduation rates. Many of our most vulnerable students, including first-generation students and students of color, also struggle the most in those gateway courses. Many of our students also have a complex set of financial, social, and academic needs that all play a part in impeding their academic success, and we must knock down the obstacles that hold back our students. I know that faculty and staff work very hard to support students on an individual basis, but that's not enough. We need to build systems of support that prevent students from falling through the cracks. There are a number of examples of high-impact practices that we are currently implementing, and we need to expand those and to do more. We can learn from model programs across campus and across the country and bring them to scale, putting clear, actionable data in the hands of people that can best use them. We can check in with students who appear to be struggling, identifying early warning signs, and then provide resources and support. Several departments are already currently working on this. And we need to find ways to support faculty's efforts. Faculty cannot do this alone. We can continue to look at whether our gateway courses and prerequisites are preparing students for more challenging courses in their chosen fields of study. We can use technology to its fullest capacity and deploy active and adaptive course technology to ensure that students get the support they need at the moment they need it. And importantly, we can continue to encourage and practice culturally responsive instruction. All of our students need to feel included both inside and outside the classroom. As President Percy mentioned, we are also very excited about the Transfer and Returning Student Resource Center opening this fall. The Transfer Student Center will help prospective students smoothly transition to PSU and work to create a culture of belonging for transfer and returning students. The center will support these students in completing their degrees by providing early academic and career advising and helping them tap into PSU resources and services. It's time to tell our students, we have your back from the first day you walk on campus until the day you walk with your graduating class. We believe that we have the data and the faculty expertise, the momentum and the enthusiasm to make it happen, and together we can find ways to work both inside and outside the classroom to support our students' academic success. Thank you. And I wanted to also give a shout out to Eve. Eve, where are you? Eve Labissiere, where are you? Hi, Eve. I'm looking forward to working together. Eve will be co-chairing it. And I also want to welcome Chuck Nefeli both to the stage and to PSU.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Steve noted earlier, I am Chuck Nefeli, Vice President for Enrollment Management. It's a pleasure to be a part of Portland State. It's PSU's access mission that convinced me to move here, and I'm very excited that I'm able to contribute to the student success efforts and maybe find a podium that doesn't shake with every time I touch it. As our state's only urban opportunity university, PSU empowers generations of Oregon students and their families. We educate more Oregonians than any other university in the state, and it's critically important that we continue to be an affordable option for students. This summer, the Oregon legislature came through with additional funding for higher education, but it wasn't enough to prevent a tuition increase at PSU or at our sister public institutions. And even though Portland State continues to offer the second lowest four-year tuition in the state, we know that many of our students must borrow money to finance their education, and too much debt can be debilitating to students as they graduate. Today, I want to tell you about several ideas we are considering to improve the overall affordability of a PSU education. Because while we cannot control the many forces that impact our tuition, we can continue to be innovative in ways that will make a real difference in our students' lives. For example, I'm happy to tell you that we have an exciting initiative this year aimed at lowering textbook costs. The library and the Office of Academic Innovation are collaborating in a year-long initiative with the OpenStax Institutional Partnership Program with the goal of increasing the adoption of open education resources. Portland State is one of the 11 institutions nationwide that were selected to participate in the program. If you are interested in learning more about OER adoption, please sign up at the sheets that are being passed around or at the tables to the entrance to the ballroom. Second, we want to be sure that the scholarship programs like 4 years free, transfers finish free, Western undergraduate exchange, and our general recruitment remissions target those students who need them most. Yes, we charge relatively low tuition, but that means we work with a lower scholarship and financial aid budget than many of our peers. It's incumbent on us to make data-driven decisions that channel our limited scholarship and financial aid funding to the neediest students first. Third, we can give our students sound information that allows them to make intelligent financial and academic decisions and limit borrowing. PSU must continue to invest in our Financial Wellness Center. We have a wonderful and unique program that can be a difference maker for so many of our students. We can help students learn early on about what kind of financial aid is available to them. We can give thorough academic advising to potential transfer students while they are still at their first institution so that the maximum number of courses apply directly to their PSU degree once they transfer. We want PSU to be a place where financial resources never, ever prevent a student from the Portland area from enrolling and never stop them from graduating. With your ideas and support, we can knock down the obstacles that hold students back. So I'll be working on this initiative with Andrea Johnson from the Budget Office. I'm really excited. I'm thrilled to be here. And next, I'm going to let you hear from Tom to talk about the last of the pillars. Thank you.
Hi, I am excited to co-chair the Student Experience Pillar with Dan Zalko, our Associate Vice President for Planning, Construction, Real Estate, Finance, and Administration. PSU is a large, decentralized, and complex place. Our student services are distributed across campus in multiple virtual environments, MyPSU, BandWeb, and more. Physically, our campus is spread across a large corner of Southwest Portland, intertwined with the city. We all know that our students are also very complex. We have the most diverse student body in Oregon. We have a large LGBTQ community. The average age of an undergrad is 26. Most students have at least one job, and many have children. PSU educates the largest percentage of transfer students in the state. 60% of our undergrads are transfer students. Perhaps most significantly, PSU educates more first-generation college students than any other university in Oregon. About 1/3 of our students are the first in their families to attend college. Imagine, if you will, the bewildering experience of arriving on our campus having never heard any family stories of how to do college. Or imagine the experience of transferring into a university located in the middle of a large city. Would you feel an immediate sense that you were part of a community? Would you feel safe? Would you feel welcomed? Our students do not just define their success in academic terms, they also want us to address basic human needs such as affordable housing, a good job, transportation, and parking. We need to acknowledge these needs and find ways to address them. In my work at the library, I have come to see our services, resources, and spaces through a lens of empathy. That's why we now have gender-neutral restrooms, a lactation room, a family-friendly study room, and foot washing stations. By tailoring these spaces to the needs of our students, we are addressing a few basic human needs and removing barriers to their success. We are telling our students that they are welcome and that they belong at PSU. The charge for the Student Experience Committee is to strengthen PSU's commitment to students by increasing a sense of belonging through creating outstanding physical and digital services and experiences. That covers just about everything, doesn't it? And that's exactly the point. Everyone has a role to play in student success. The student experience encompasses what happens when students are applying to PSU, when they're registering for classes, when they're checking out a book from the library, and when they're learning in our classrooms. Remember, this is not just this year's initiative. This is the start of work that will take 5 to 10 years to achieve. Along the way, we must ensure that student feedback is incorporated as we improve our places, services, and processes so that they are, at every point, focused on improving the student experience. For many years, we've been doing great work on campus. We need to build on that and push it further to make sure that student success is the guiding principle of every person who works at PSU. We know that we can do better and that our students deserve it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Petrovsky. I'm a professor of biology and the interim vice president for research as of a few weeks ago. I want to thank Steve for giving me this opportunity to serve this campus, and I hope I don't mess it up. So we'll see how it goes. I also want to point out that if you might be surprised to see the provost in tennis shoes, you're probably surprised to see me not in tennis shoes. So. Today, I just want to go through and talk a little bit about research and sort of some of the progress we've made and give you an idea of some of the things that you can look forward to this year coming up. If you go by the numbers, this last year was a banner year for PSU in terms of research. We hit an all-time high research expenditure of over $65 million. And I want to just make a note, as you came in, there was a sheet there with all of these numbers on it so you can look at those, and maybe there's all sorts of other numbers that you can look at. I'm going to talk about research expenditure numbers, and you're going to hear this a lot because only for one reason. It's the only easy thing that we can measure accurately. It doesn't mean that that's what we value more than anything else. It's just what we can report accurately. There's lots of funded and unfunded research that's super important here. There's lots of creative research that we really want to support as well. So don't think that just by talking about those numbers that we think that's what's important. If you look at it in terms of numbers of awards, we had 766 active awards. And what's more surprising to me is that that comes from 290 individual different funders. That is a really diverse portfolio, okay? That's a lot of work, and it means that there's a lot of different federal agencies or state agencies to deal with, so it's a very complex portfolio, and it's a lot of work to support that. We are up 8.2% this year in terms of research expenditures, which is a good indicator of a good, strong, healthy research enterprise. We launched 3 new startup companies from PSU-based technologies. We launched 2 new research centers, and we awarded almost 2,000 graduate degrees and certificates. So this is a serious amount of work that we work out of this office. We also hosted the Invent Oregon competition, which is hosted and run by the PSU Center for Entrepreneurship, which brought 21 teams from 17 colleges to campus, and they competed for $30,000 in prizes. So that's a neat competition that we can do. It's been a crazy year this last year, and we've actually built, I think, a lot of positive momentum as far as research goes, and the RGS office right now is still committed to taking that momentum and moving forward. So you'll be hearing from us often this year about events that are going on, and we're hoping that we can keep celebrating and supporting the funded and unfunded research that makes PSU such a neat and impactful place. I would be remiss if I didn't say that we've had some challenges over the last year too. I think we all know this. And part of the problem is that we have this really big and complex portfolio of work to support, and we need to find solutions for how we're going to support that as a campus. We're doing a little bit of a reboot on the process for how to figure out how to do that, and I'm really optimistic that we can work together with the talents of the faculty and staff that we have here that are so passionate about research to find a way forward. So I look forward to having those conversations and actually very quickly trying to figure out ways that we can push this research machine forward into the future. I also want to make a point. Let's see here. Is it going to move? There we go. That a thriving and robust research enterprise is really supportive of student success. There's lots of studies out there that show that getting a research experience can be one of the most transformative experiences for somebody during their undergraduate career. And I bet all of the people out there, or a lot of you out there, had that experience. I know I did. I came from a small logging town in Oregon. I had no idea what, I thought I can either cut a tree down or I can take a tree once it's cut down and make it into boards. Those were the two things that I thought about in high school, I'm serious. And I'm like, well, I like being outside, but then again, you know, if it rains, it can be inside. But, and then I went to college, and I found out all of this stuff. I got interested in deep sea biology, and now I study these weird fish that live in the tropics. And it changed my life. And it was one day sitting in a lecture, and this professor said some things that just resonated with me, and I went up and I asked him if I could work in his lab, and he let me work in his lab. And 20-some years later, here I am. So I think we can really double down on that, and the research office is going to be here to be a partner in all of the student success work, and we'll do everything that we can to help make this a positive and successful experience. I also want to point out that a lot of the work that gets done is done by individuals, right? A lot of the work, all of the work, that $65 million portfolio is individuals going out of their way to bring money into this university. But we also have 39 active funded projects that are specifically focused on student success, bringing students in, especially underrepresented students or STEM students, and helping them to achieve better success and outcomes. And programs like LSAMP and McNair and Exito, these are critical to the ecosystem of this university, and they really work. I mean, I was really surprised to see that the Exito has an 88% overall retention rate of their students. That's amazing, right? We need to do more like that. So I look forward to continue these conversations. We started some conversations last year about the role of undergraduate research on this campus. I'm on an ad hoc committee for the Faculty Senate for that. And I really hope that we can continue these talks and figure out how we can integrate the research enterprise into student success here. Okay, so one last slide and I promise I'll shut up. There will be a newsletter coming out soon that will tell you about all of the events that RGS is going to support this year. We're going to have a grant writing workshop again in December. We're working on launching the new Koali research platform, which will help us to put most of the things that we deal with in the office electronically, like we'll have electronic P-offs and things like that coming out soon. So we're working on ways to make our operation more efficient and supportive. We, together with Rositza in grad school, are launching Slate, which will modernize our admissions process across the whole university, which I think is going to be pretty exciting. There's going to also be a whole new launching of a professional development series of workshops for faculty, postdocs, and students. So be on the lookout for that sort of stuff. We'll be putting that out in a couple of weeks, I think. And I also want to just take a second to recognize the research administrators. So today, you may not know this, is National Research Administrator Day. And we had a nice lunch in the office there, but This is a day for us to recognize sort of the unsung heroes of the research enterprise. These people work tirelessly, and especially over the last year, it's been very stressful to support faculty. So join me, please, in giving them a hand. Okay. So now the real reason they let me up here, and they didn't know I was going to talk this much, I don't think, is to talk about the Research and Mentoring Awardees. So we will be having Research Week again this year as well, so be on the lookout for information on that. But today we're going to recognize the awardees from last year's Research Week, our Research and Mentoring Awardees, Beth Green, Steve Reichow, David Cadiz, and Deborah Luderschmidt. Thank you.
We have a few different themes of research in my lab, but they all fall under the same sort of umbrella question, and that is trying to understand how animals interact with their environment to make a living in the real world. So we're ultimately interested in trying to understand how animals are extracting information from the environment and how that information is then used to influence seasonal rhythms and physiology and behavior. One of the most important aspects I hope that a graduate student can take away from a mentored research experience is an introduction to what it means to do research, do original research, to look at the literature and figure out where the gaps in our knowledge are, and then design questions and experiments that will help answer those gaps.
The complexities of the aging process impact the way people work. And so that could be how a person's job is designed. That could be how they interact with people. So you think about intergenerational kind of conflict and communication issues. That could be how organizations develop policies around how they treat their workers throughout their lifespan. That could be how we learn differently through our lifespan. From an individual perspective, we need to be able to allow individuals to explore their careers and be able to choose when they would like to retire. From a societal perspective, it's really about policies of how do we maintain pension programs and other systems so that people don't have to worry about their finances and stuff like that toward the end of their lives.
I guess what we describe ourselves as are molecular photographers. And so we use really high-powered microscopes to allow us to peer into the molecular world that goes on inside of our bodies. There's really no limitation of the type of molecule you can characterize with this technique. And I just fell in love with it. And so this is the technology that I brought with me here to PSU. One of the major projects that we're investigating in my laboratory has to deal with trying to understand how the cells in our body communicate with one another. And so one of the most direct ways of doing this is through a class of proteins known as the gap junctions. These are proteins that form a direct pathway for cells to communicate with one another, to pass chemical information back and forth. And so we're using electron microscopy to visualize these channels and understand how they open and close and facilitate this kind of network of chemical information flow in the body.
So a lot of my work lately has been in this area of prenatal to grade 3 systems support, which really tries to look at how our community groups, organizations, partnering and trying to put the pieces together to meet the needs of children and families, rather than working in these sort of independent silos where, schools do their thing, or child care does their thing, preschool does their thing, self-sufficiency does their thing, and they never talk to each other. That's not the way families experience the world. So it's been really interesting to work on these projects where they're really trying to bring the partners together around someplace that has a physical community structure through the elementary schools, and take on this really significant work.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon, and welcome all our new and returning faculty. Bienvenidos. My name is Isabel Jaén Portillo. I'm a professor at the Department of World Languages and Literatures, and I'm also the presiding officer of the Faculty Senate. At a time when education in our country is becoming too expensive to be afforded by many, when people are beginning to wonder, why should I go to college? It is very important to remind ourselves, and in particular, to remind all those who are in executive positions in governments and universities of the importance of higher education for our society and of the need to rethink our priorities, both financial and ideological, in order to make higher education accessible to the human beings who are the members and builders of our society so that we can continue to walk on the path of progress. Spanish humanist philosopher Juan Luis Vives, a contemporary of Erasmus and teacher of the Princess Mary Tudor, wrote on his treatise on education called The Transmission of Knowledge, published in the 16th century, the fruit of studies consists in the application of them to the public good. This is an idea that is also conveyed in our own Portland State motto, let knowledge serve the city. At the university, we help our students not only to get a professional education, to find a job, but also, and more importantly, to be useful members of our local and global communities. In this sense, student success can and should be viewed as achieving the goal of giving back to the public good, helping others to acquire knowledge and expertise. Our main role as educators is to help students develop the fundamental skills that they will need to become agents of positive change in a world through any professional endeavor they may choose. These skills do not belong to a single profession or discipline, but are developed across fields of study and academic activities, and constitute the basis of a well-rounded education and the preparation for any professional environment, as well as to respond to the challenges of our times, such as climate change. Among these fundamental skills, we find effective and all-written communication in more than one field and in more than one language, cultural competency, the ability to respect, understand, and interact with individuals from diverse backgrounds and contexts, empathy, creative thinking, critical thinking, the ability to reflect on the past, present, and future of our civilizations, the ability to establish connections. These are skills that are acquired and developed through the multiple areas of study that the university cultivates in the humanities, the social sciences, the arts, the natural sciences, the formal and applied sciences, through all the related fields, and particularly through interdisciplinary studies. It is very important that our institution continues to support and grow all of our areas of study while also promoting initiatives such as a solid university writing program and providing resources and opportunities for research. Indeed, research and teaching are the pillars of knowledge. As teachers, we not only need to explore our fields in great depth, but also need to bring our students closer to the latest developments in them, as well as the ways in which these fields are contributing to our world realities beyond our academic environment. Research is what we do with and for our students, with and for our communities, in a lab, a library, an archive, an archaeological site, in contact with other individuals and cultures through high-impact practices, etc. In order to stay healthy, research requires financial and time resources. Because of the diverse nature of our fields and methodologies, not all research can be carried out through external grants. And that is why we need a solid and constant financial investment and the commitment of our leaders. In securing such investment, to create the needed initiatives and opportunities, we must rely on the will and long-term vision of our administration to help us maintain and continue to build a stronger university. A strong university is a university with leaders who place academic quality, inclusion, and student success at the core, who seek budget models consistent with best academic practices, who help programs grow in the face of financial challenges, who can negotiate efficiently with our unions and with our legislators, who promote communication and transparency and work closely with the faculty, who pay attention to the needs of faculty, students, and staff, engage in dialogue with all their constituencies, and also engage in the constructive exercise of self-evaluation, pondering past practices, decisions, and their outcomes, readjusting the coordinates and priorities to adapt to academic needs. Leaders who ensure that all the diverse groups on campus feel safe, who listen to their safety needs, and take measures in a humane and innovative manner, consistently with its own culture and voices beyond any trends. At Faculty Senate, we look forward to a year of exciting initiatives, such as those presented here, and a year of fruitful conversations on leadership and how we can all together contribute to make our university as strong as it can be, for the benefit of our students and our communities. I want to thank our colleagues who are currently participating in shared governance for their commitment, particularly to the wonderful colleagues that we have at the steering committee of the Faculty Senate. And also I want to encourage all of you to continue to participate in shared governance and the new members of our faculty and staff to join us. Just a few more words. Well, the way you can participate, as you know, in shared governance is by not only by joining the Faculty Senate and their committees, but also by staying informed, voicing your views on how we can safeguard and advance higher education here at Portland State and beyond. And to finish, I would like to say that unlike a corporation, a university needs to be centered on human knowledge capital, and we are quite rich at that, a human and knowledge capital at Portland State. Miguel de Cervantes, the author of Don Quixote, which is considered the first modern novel and the second most translated and undoubtedly most read book after the Bible, reminds us often that no one is born wise, and that knowledge is based on human beings. That is why a university centered on the individuals that participate in the exchange of knowledge is so important. And that is the reason why we are all here. Gracias.
Well, welcome everybody. I am Bill Bolt. I'm president and CEO of the Portland State University Foundation. Delighted to be here. And I just want to say, as a first-generation graduate and as a former associate professor, I am so inspired by the work of Susan and the team regarding student success. It is absolutely the centerpiece of the campaign we're going through. And we're going to make sure that we surpass our goal and provide a lot of private support, many major gifts for that effort, because there's nothing that is more compelling to our donors than student success. I hear it every day. So thank you, Susan and team. And since this campaign is the first campaign that's really involved the entire university, everyone, I want to just give you a quick progress report. $300 million goal, we're at $247 million, but think about this, 55,000 gifts, more than 55,000 gifts during this campaign, and we're not done. We have almost 2 years left, and we're going to surpass that goal by quite a lot. And I just want to say that $247 million, what does that mean? Well, we've raised $82.9 million for scholarship support. You have. It's a community effort. And $110.4 million for faculty and programs. That's amazing. So most of our support goes to faculty and programs and student scholarship. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. And I want to tell you, you're all movers and shakers here. Let me just tell you. I do have a challenge for you, though. So what we've done is, the motto for our campaign is let knowledge serve, not just the city, the globe. So I'm going to call my office. They're going to go crazy again. I do this all the time. We have hats that say "Let Knowledge Serve, Portland State University," and these hats are going around the world. I really thought I would win the contest. We have a little contest. I went to Italy and Spain. I took my Let Knowledge Serve hat to the Alhambra in Granada, and you know what? Somebody surpassed it already. They've gone to Hong Kong and to the top of the Austrian Alps. So I'm going to call my office as soon as I'm done. They're going to say, it's Bill. It's Bill's great idea again. And anyone that would like to take hats, I know how many people are going to be traveling in the next year? Raise your hands. Okay, we have a hat. Take a hat, because we're going to do a big collage on our website. Take a hat, let knowledge serve, tell people about Portland State, spread the word globally. We're a great university, and the only way we can really market effectively is through you. So I'm going to get as many hats as I can, and then we're going to order more for the ones on the waiting list. So that's a challenge to all of you. And I just want to thank all of you in this room for this support and this campaign. It's just amazing. I've been doing this for over 35 years as either a vice president or a president. I've never seen more enthusiasm at a university. It's terrific. Now, I'm very honored to be able to share this year's recipients of the Foundation Excellence Award. These individuals have gone above and beyond in their work to advance philanthropic support on this campus. So, we have Claudia Meyer, we have Christina Gildersleeve Newman, and we have Becky Sanchez. And guess what? We have videos. Let's roll them.
I manage the undergraduate program in the business school, which means my job really is to improve their student success, improve the experience overall, and help them get to graduation and get jobs. It's really rewarding to be recognized for the partnership that I have with our foundation and development folks. The benefit of getting an award like this is that other people recognize it and they see that development work, fundraising is all of our jobs. It's not just the job of the development team. Portland State students are strong and tenacious. So the work ethic that our students bring to their curriculum and to their career pursuits, I think, is unmatched by any other business student in Oregon. From the perspective of the business professionals that are hiring them, they routinely come back and tell us that our students are head and shoulders above the rest. It's absolutely rewarding. Yeah, it's the thing that I go home at night and tell my family about.
We are in Speech and Hearing Sciences, master's program here at Portland State University, and the focus of speech-language pathologists is on serving people with communication and swallowing disorders.
So a lot of what we do is train students to be clinicians out in the community working with individuals with communication disorders. We also are very involved in the research, the communication science behind what's disorder, what's typical, and a variety of areas related to more scientific approaches to communication.
And our big focus has been to create really strong bridges with the community and with research, and the research faculty and the clinic faculty working together to create really top-notch clinics to serve the community.
Claudia and I won the Philanthropic Leadership Award. It is a great honor to have that shared with Claudia, and speaks to the close relationship and our synergy, I think, as a team.
We really want to create opportunities for more access for students who are having a hard time accessing higher ed.
I've seen students not apply for graduate school, and they've told me after the fact that they didn't apply because they didn't have the $300 for the application.
Winning this award reminds us that our contributions are valued at PSU, and that PSU values authentic, collaborative relationships with donors, and that it's through those relationships that you come up with these symbiotic goals with donors. And that's one of the things that we've learned alongside of each other and alongside of the foundation here at PSU as we've grown.
Well, thanks. I'm back. And I'm honored to congratulate and introduce the 4 Faculty Excellence Awardees: Scott Wells, Jack Corbett, Sarah Beasley, and Karen Hansen.
I'm really looking at trying to develop computer simulation models of bodies of water like rivers, lakes, estuaries. We're working on things like greenhouse gas production from reservoirs down in South America. We're also looking at mercury formation in reservoirs on the snake system and how that bioaccumulates in fish and what we can do to manage those reservoirs to minimize that impact. I'm flattered to be awarded the Branford Price Miller Award. I love working here at PSU and I love working with the students that I have. What excites me mainly is that we're trying to do something to improve the environment and trying to make a difference in making water better quality, not only for fish but also for us.
I am a subject librarian. I work on what kinds of resources the library has that supports the faculty in their research and certainly the students. Many of my colleagues have had received this award in the past, and to me it's a really nice recognition of a role and tasks that I've taken on in the library over the years. One of my projects over the summer is to look for things that could be weeded from the collection because they're no longer used or they're so infrequently used. That can be a little controversial. Browsing is a particular kind of discovery that's very different than searching. The ability to be in the stacks and sort of see things that you just simply wouldn't find in any other way is something that a lot of people really miss. We have great students and we have fascinating students. The diversity of our students is fascinating. The life experience that our students bring, you just feel really, really connected to the whole world.
My job primarily is to encourage international students to learn about PSU and hopefully come here and study. I was given the Mary Cumpston Award for service to students, and I'm really proud and I'm honored. I have spent my entire career here at Portland State in student services of some kind. I've had a chance to grow so much as a person because I get to see really how similar we all are. That people from different countries, different cultures, but we're all basically looking for the same thing. We want the best for our kids. We want them to get a good education and be successful. And hopefully I can play a small part in helping students do that.
Over the last 35 years, I've run more than 80 programs in international settings with more than 1,000 students and community professionals participating. And at the same time, we've arranged for roughly 300 Mexican graduate students and faculty to spend time at Portland State or elsewhere in the Portland area. It's easy at Portland State to think of ourselves as in a perpetual shadow of other state institutions. And I really would like to emphasize, I think that's a mistake. I have never, in 50 years of working in academia, worked with a faculty that works as hard as my colleagues here at PSU. We are, in fact, better than we give ourselves credit for being.
Thank you to the awardees, and I'm delighted to congratulate our Adjunct Excellence Awardees, Travis McFerrin and Yoko Sakarucha.
The classes that I've taught have mostly been structural design classes and some analysis classes. I've really enjoyed teaching at Portland State since it's really an extension of what I do every day. having a fresh set of eyes or someone that's asking a question that's new, being new and introduced to it is really interesting. But we also get a lot of students at the graduate level classes that are from practice going back to school, and they're asking really difficult questions. I've gotten a lot from it, and I'd like to think that I've given a lot back, and a lot of people have learned a lot of stuff. It's good recognition, and I really appreciate it. To me, it's very, it means a lot that people actually appreciate the effort that I put into a class and the research that I'm putting into it. A lot of the different engineering firms that I've worked with, there'll be 2, 3, 4 different people that I've taught over the years, and like, yeah, I remember when I had you this class. And they'll say, hey, I remember when you talked about this. And so knowing that they actually got something valuable from that's really rewarding.
It means a lot to me. I've started the teaching career in 2000 at PSU, and since then, I've taught with passion and mission, and I feel so fortunate and grateful to work with the PSU faculty, staff, and students. It's exciting to meet new students every term, witness their personal and academic growth over the term. I always try to create a safe learning environment for every and all students, where students can learn from me and other classmates, and I also learn from them all the time. I had a struggling student. He transferred from different college. He dropped out that college. He took my course, and he said my course changed his life. And he wasn't sure if he finished the degree, but he did. Actually, this year he graduated from the graduate school, which is actually a law school, and he became a lawyer. So, yeah, that was amazing.
Wow. That was an important reminder that at good times and bad, we should all accompany each other with gentleness and competence. So it's really a privilege to have shared this afternoon with you. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our new employees and ask them to stand for applause, and this includes 48 new faculty members. Thank you. Many of our new faculty are wearing PSU lanyards and name tags. Now, these are not to be mistaken for whistleblowers, so please make a point to meet them at the reception after the event, and I promise there will be no quid pro quo. When I read that to my son, he didn't get it at all, so thank you. We had a successful promotion and tenure cycle, including 2 faculty members who were awarded indefinite tenure. 25 faculty were promoted to associate professor with indefinite tenure, and there were 55 faculty who were promoted into other ranks, including 16 to emeritus. And so to our tenure track and non-tenure track faculty, congratulations, and please stand so we could applaud you. Okay, now you know it's that time where the only thing that's standing between the food and you is me. All right, so I'll be quick. I want to thank you for joining us for the 2019 Faculty and Staff Convocation. Today's session highlighted our commitment to student success. This will require a collective effort. We recognize that student success is inextricably linked to faculty success. and that faculty must be and will be a part of this conversation. We hope that you have a productive and satisfying year and urge you to make time in your life and space in your hearts for each other. Please join us to your left or on the balcony for our annual, it would be your left, for our annual Convocation reception where you can greet new faculty and connect with colleagues. It's great to see all of you again.